Okay, Algebra 1 students, I hope this is a very short video talking about zeros of a function. Okay, so zeros are named that way because they are parts of the graph where y is equal to 0. Sometimes this is the x-intercept. And this is an example of the sometimes that your 0 is the x-intercept, because you should know by now that anywhere on the x-axis, the coordinate for y for all of these points is 0. Okay? Let's look at Desmos. Okay, so now that we're situated in Desmos, I will be able to continue my explanation. So if you're looking at this is a quadratic. We're going to study these next semester. You can see that it is in the shape of a parabola, and it crosses the x-axis in two places. Okay? So here is the equation for that, and I want to show you on my document camera. Let me see if this will work. Ta-da! Yes, it will. I'm going to show you on the document camera how I solve this problem. So I set the equation equal to 0, because that's what you're supposed to do. I'm looking for the place on the graph where y is equal to 0. So you can see I added 3 to both sides, and that gives me 3 equals x squared. And of course, you haven't learned this yet, but you will. I'm not solving for x squared. I'm solving for single x. So that means I have to take the square root of both sides. Okay? And so here's my final answer. Plus and minus the square root of 3. Now, if you put the square root of 3 into a calculator, you will notice that you see the first 4 numbers of that square root, 1.732. Now, let's go back to Desmos, and you will notice that if you click on these zeros, look at what they equal. 1.732 and negative 1.732, plus or minus the square root of 3. So now I'm going to show you why sometimes zeros are the y-intercept, but not always. Let's take a look at this parabola. Do you notice how it floats here above the x-axis? It is never going to touch it or cross it. It has zeros. They're just not real. So let me show you what I mean by that. So here we have y equals x squared plus 3. So we set the equation equal to 0, and we start isolating x. So the first thing we're going to do is we're adding 3 here, so we have to subtract it from both sides. And now we're ready to take the square root. Only look at this. Oops. This is not a real number. So you can see it is a number. You saw me solve this equation. It's just not a real number. So when you look at this graph, you can see that the real number line, or the x-axis, this is never going to touch it, and it's never going to cross it. So therefore, my friend, this is how we can say that zeros are named because they are the places on a graph where y is equal to 0. And sometimes this results in a graph with real zeros right here. And sometimes they don't. Thank you for listening. See you in the next video.